This thing's better. How much better? Today we're going to put it against the Capra and we shall find out. If you've kept up with our recent exploits with the Vanquish Phoenix, you will know that we now have this thing sorted out. We're still using the stock wheels and tyres, which testing showed recently aren't too bad. Now, if you haven't seen the last of the series where we finally got the geometry sorted, pause this, go check that out now and then come back, because what we're about to look at today is a follow-up to that last video. We of course have the longest shocks and the slightly altered geometry up the front. So I'm happy enough with this thing's performance, but I haven't actually put it around the 10 problem course yet. And to make things interesting, I've got another 1.9 Portal rock crawler here, the Axial Capra. So I thought we might put both of these portaled 1.9 dig capable rigs against each other and just see what they're like. Now we're going to use the same wheels and tyres. So we're going to use the Vanquish VXT, they're 4.65s. The tyres already have some wear going. They're wearing in now, and you can see the rubber's kind of been, it's bedded in. It's got some stick to it now. So what we're going to do is I'll put this around the 10 problem course, and then we'll put this around the 10 problem course with the same shoes on. Let's do it. Now for those of you joining for the first time on this channel, I've got various sets of problems set up here. Today we're going to use the 10 gate course, which means we can time and score this. It's a 5-minute limit. Now with a capable machine, this course can be finished in about 2 minutes with the very most capable machine. Now that's gate 1 cleared, which is now at a score of -2. We started with a score of 0. I'm not actually in a hurry here because we're going for the best score, and score beats time as long as you finish within time. Now, this course is designed to be challenging. We're going to high point the skid on this if we're not careful. So some judicious use of throttle is needed so that we don't fall to the edge. Good. Now if you're wondering, -30 is the lowest possible score. And that includes the bonus. We've got a bonus gate over there, which we need to finish before the finish line within time for that to count. So lowest score wins. Now, it's nice to be able to dig your way out of some of these problems like you would have seen in the previous video we did, but it's not always possible. These tyres, it's another gate touch, but we did clear the bonus. These tyres don't have the traction. Flies today. Tyres don't have the traction. To dig out, you really need to hoik that tyre hard onto the rock. It's just not always possible. So this wasn't a great run. We've had 2 gate touches. No, we just touched this gate. Gate 8's actually quite tricky with smaller tyres. As long as one wheel from each axle passes though, that's a pass. And through the finish line, which we can at least do cleanly, for a time of 4 minutes 38. So we had 3 gate touches and 3 reverses. Bonus is complete. So here's the score on screen. Now we'll change the wheels onto the Capra and I'll see you in a sec. It's now time to see what the Capra can do with the same wheels and tyres. Let's do it. Capra looking very wide with these. It's actually going to be a challenge on some gates. Time starts now. Now we had a Holmes 45 turn 3-pole Trailmaster Expert in the Vanquish. The Capra is running the Axe 2300 kV R2 FOC brushless system, field-oriented control, which is designed to give you consistent, we're going to be wide, we're going to struggle on some of these. It gives you consistent wheel speed based on throttle input. Traditional systems, when you come up to an obstacle, there'll be a pause and you'll need to feed more throttle in. Oh, this is very wide. I'll show you on camera in a minute. But with the FOC, there's a reverse. We need more throttle, unfortunately. There we are. Tidy though, like a little spider. With the FOC, the wheels just keep turning based on your throttle input, regardless of the resistance. So you can actually break stuff more easily with FOC. But it also is predictable if you're into that style. Now, not everyone's into that style. And certainly there's something to be said for having a more traditional feel where you've got to feed more throttle against an obstacle. I actually like FOC, but I totally get why people prefer not. The very wide track on the Capra, it's actually too wide. that's working against the Capra, but what's working in its favor is it is incredibly composed and very lightweight up top. Its center of gravity is exceptionally good. Now this is only one speed, but with brushless, you've got heaps of speed and heaps of control. I really like brushless systems. It doesn't have to be an FSE system, but brushless means you can, as long as it's censored, you can have, or FSE, you can have low speed control and also much more power when you want it. And we've tapped the bonus gate there. That's 2 gate touches. 3 gate touches. Oh, yuck. We've had 3 gate touches and 2 reverses. This track is holding the Capra back, but I guess that makes for a more fair fight. When we did the Capra with the BF Goodrich crawlers, we got -19. As long as I don't muff it here, we'll have a score of -13. One wheel needs to pass, that's it. So we've now technically finished. In 4:46, nearly at 5 minutes, so that was actually slower. Interesting. All right, I'll just pull the battery and we can have a chat. Well, this ended up being really close. I think the main reason for that, the main reason the Capra didn't absolutely dominate, is because it is crazy wide. See, these wheels, even though I'm using the narrow adapters in the Vanquish VXT wheels, it adds width. So usually the inside of the wheels should be around these weights, so you wouldn't see the weights. Usually the tires would be there. So that's hamstrung the Capra a little bit. So we had a time of 4:46 and a score of -13. The lower is better. Time of, I think it was 4:38, and a score of -12. All right, we've got the wheels back on this thing, so you can see what I mean about the track width. It's not ridiculous on the Phoenix. When we did this without the mods, in stock form, on that course, we got a score of -6 in about 3.5 minutes. We've now had a score of -12. Now for both this and for the Capra, I accidentally hit a gate in both cases where I really could have avoided it, I think. I can't claim a score I didn't get, but I reckon if I did this a bunch of times, we'd be getting a score of closer to -20, -15 to -20, I reckon would be reasonable. And the same with the Capra, actually. Although it's wider track, we're kind of closer to the bleeding edge with these wheels on the Capra. It's capable of a perfect score on this course with an appropriate track. Keep in mind that this is indicative. It's meant for fun. We are playing with tiny trucks after all, and I'm not trying to do a scientific experiment so much as just a useful indication of performance gains that you can do at home without having to spend a bunch of money. We've only got one servo in here. What I really have stuck in here is 90mm shocks and the longer rods. That's really the main difference that's helped this thing along. Narrower track, longer suspension, and adjusting for that slightly bigger reach. Really, that's all I've done. We've locked the overdrive at 6%, and that's about it. It's actually quite a pleasure to drive now. They seem like little changes, but they really have made a big difference to this thing. I guess this is a good capstone on top of the journey we've had so far for the Vanquish Phoenix. I really wasn't sure about this thing. I wanted to like it at first. It's clear there's love and care that's gone into the design of this thing. It's a beautiful machine. It's not a trail truck. It's kind of slow, depending on how you gear it. It's only 1 speed. And all its little tricks in its gearbox mean that it's intended clearly to do well on the rocks, but it didn't do well on the rocks. Now it does. And that's all I can really ask for. I really like this truck. Well done, Vanquish. A little bit of tweaking, and I think for a budget Vanquish, given that Vanquish is a premium brand, I really like it. So there you go. Throw me a like if you like it too. Throw me a comment about what you'd like to see the Vanquish drive against, just for curiosity's sake. You might want to see how it goes against something like a Gen 8 V2 or Sendero, TRX4 Sport. You name it. I probably have it here and we can try it. But we've got quite a host of interesting stuff coming, so stay tuned. Until then, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time on RC-TNT.